She was the only girl born to her musician father and backup singer dancer mother, the baby of their 3 children, 2 bouncing baby boys before her, who later became musicians too. She, a lover of music, singing and dancing herself. Her parents were young. Her mother was 21 years old when she delivered her 3rd child, this bright-eyed baby girl. They divorced when she was only 2. Her paternal grandfather died at the same time. Somehow, her mother also met a man who would become her stepfather that same year. Her mother, a natural beauty, not destined to stay single for long. Even with her bundle of 3 children, she devotedly toted along with her everywhere she went. Her stepfather, a man who was grief-stricken after a difficult marriage prior and the recent death of their one and only child, a little girl who died at the age of 6. Later, her stepfather told her a story of feeling utterly helpless as a man, husband, and father, not being able to help his daughter. He went to Kmart and loaded up his car once with as many soft stuffed animals as he could fit, barely being able to see out the windows, and drove them to his daughter in the hospital. He said she couldn't see or hear, so the only thing he could think of was to give her as many soft things to touch and hold as he possibly could. When he met her mother, he said she was an answer to his prayers, truly believing God sent her to him. She prayed for a loyal man, too, who could give her and her children a good home. He was an answered prayer as well. It feels more true to honor and say every soul is an answer to someone's prayer. That little girl was born during the cleansing spring rain and freshly blooming flowers. When the lullabies were sung by her friends, the frogs and crickets, by the nearby creeks and ponds. What no one could have planned or imagined was she shared a birthday, same day and month, different year, as her deceased stepsister. This made her stepfather retreat in grief on her birthdays, but slowly and over time, it would become something to cherish and be awe-inspired by, as if another gift from God. I'm sitting here trying to make sense of so much. The signs and synchronicities, traumas, complexities, grievances, gifts and desires. Sometimes I feel like a broken record, repeating the same stories, trying to extract meaning, while also trying to never forget so I can properly integrate their profundity. Maybe I was 9 or 10 years old when I had my first dream visitation. A woman came to me and it scared me. I didn't know her and I could feel her loving care, but I could also feel her saying goodbye. Somehow I knew she had died. The next morning my mother got the call that her aunt died in the night, the same time as my dream visitation, which felt more like a nightmare. A spirit visitation from my great aunt, who would later visit me fairly regularly. Today, while sitting with a friend, I felt her deceased brother thanking me for loving his baby sister. He felt like a grown man close to my age, no longer unable to speak. I could hear him telepathically, crystal clear. He showed me a tugboat, sailboat toy. I shared these impressions with her, and we both ended up crying happy tears. She said, I feel like I can return now to my proper place as the baby. Because he was disabled, even though 8 years older, she felt like she was the big baby sister to her big baby brother. Lately, we've been sharing stories from our childhood, exemplifying how we are both extremely sensitive souls. We both were made fun of and picked on for our sensitivities, as if it was a disability to feel things so acutely and emotionally. I never could hide my emotions. They would come through one way or another, usually through blotches and hives on my flesh. My friend and I are also the only girls with all brothers. But ironically, even though I never knew my stepsister, she died before becoming my stepsister, I have her now as a sibling in spirit form, and my friend has her big brother in spirit form. We also both had our mothers unexpectedly die a few years apart, as young, middle-aged women. Her dog died shortly after her mother. My dog died shortly before my mother. I want to add that all my brothers have biblical names, and her 2 brothers have biblical names, and we are the only girls and have non-traditional biblical names. This makes me laugh, as I've always had a rebellious nature challenging specific norms, especially those filled with hypocrisy. My friend has a similar rebellious spirit. Lately, she has been following what she calls her rebellious joy. She said, Gabor Mate shares it's not just what happened to you as a child, but also what didn't, that shapes your life. Life is a journey of reclaiming our rebellious joy. My friend informed me perhaps her name is in the Bible, with a Greek and Hebrew heritage, as her name means God or life of spirit. My name means victory for the people. We both laugh with a sly and sneaky grin at each other as if uncovering a secret that our names actually do symbolize mystical powers of the most divine. Our names might not be the more obvious biblical names that our brothers possess, but they are deeply spiritual, bearing great and fruitful gifts for us to embody within our lives. Since the beginning of April, I've been traveling spiritually with Falcon. Falcon means victory. These signs are not mere coincidences, they are omens with prophetic significance. Is it just me, or does it feel like we as a human species are spiraling and returning to our soul truths? Almost everyone I talk with lately has stories to share of how they feel they are stepping more into their divine birthright. I know it's not just me. Even my work as a soul facilitator has been centered around soul retrieval work that fosters living a soul-embodied life from the inside out. Maybe it's within my circle of people, but it feels like it's collective, and this makes me excited for humanity. My mother's parents lived at a lake house cottage. We called it the cottage when we spoke of it. It held safety, love, joy, and family connection in its essence. I have a dream of living in my forever home, a cozy cottage in the woods. I'm a country girl through and through. My mother had a dream of being a writer. She wanted the old office of the barn to be reconstructed into her cozy writing cottage. Today, a book I compiled of her words and photos came in the mail, just in time to bring to Michigan as a gift to my stepfather for his birthday, which is a week before my mother's. My mother wrote a children's book. She was so proud of it. It's a nature story she was inspired to write for my 2 youngest brothers. I grew to become a writer, a soul writer. Everything I do has soul. I once worked at Burger King for 2 days when I was 19 years old. I told the manager I had to quit as it wasn't aligned with my soul. He smiled and said I lasted longer than he suspected. I was a vegan, and he didn't think working at a Burger King was a good fit, but he let me give it a try. That experience taught me how vital it was to never do anything that didn't align with my soul. Never sell my soul for anyone or anything. It's a core value and a non-negotiable for me at all times. In some ways, I can thank Burger King for that clarification.